Okay, now you should be able to hear me. It definitely helps to turn on the mic. So I'm guessing now you can hear me. Is the sound okay now? Is it fixed? Yes? Everybody can hear me okay? Awesome. And you can kind of see me. I have a bright projector behind me, so I know I'm a little bit dark because I'm backlit. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for joining today. We are going to be looking at an IELTS Task 1 example from our website. So we are using a diagram from our website at aehelp.com for academic IELTS help. Please visit us at aehelp.com and join our full course there. You can see the lesson details in the stream description. There is a link there for you as well that shows some great vocabulary for you to learn before IELTS. Now, let's get going here. So step number one, I'm going to log in to the website here. So this is our website. This is Academic IELTS English Help. I will use my account for this lesson today. Okay, so when you log into your My Student account on our website, you will see lots of materials. We have a full online course here. We have 6 practice exams that you can download, study plans, workbook. There are 40 lesson videos here that you can check out and learn from. They're full videos in HD, no advertising. And then you can do a lot of other things as well to help you pass the IELTS exam. And of course, you can use it on your phone or your tablet also. So today we're looking at IELTS Task 1. And we have lots of different questions for you to practice. Just a quick question, everyone. How many different types of IELTS Task 1 can you see in the academic version of the test? So can anybody tell me how many different types of IELTS Task 1 there are in the academic version of the test? There are actually 6, Akil. Not 5, it's actually 6. Can anybody tell me what the 6 are? So what are the 6 different kinds of Task 1 in academic IELTS? Can anybody tell me that? No, there's 6 guys, so you're 6. They are line graph, bar graph, pie chart, table, flow chart, and diagram. Okay? So those are the 6. Charts, bars, diagrams, stages, maps, and tables. Maps is actually a type of diagram. Okay? So maps is actually a type of diagram. Now, the reason this is important is because each one has a different style of writing, okay? A little bit of a different style for each one. One of the most common mistakes that I see with students for IELTS Task 1 Academic is students write like they're looking at a line graph, even when they're writing for a bar chart or a pie graph or a diagram. So be very careful, okay? Quickly increasing, gradually decreasing. This is vocabulary that's useful for a line graph, but for bar graphs, pie charts, you should use something different, okay? So today we're looking at a diagram, and let's put that up there. Okay, so this is the diagram that we're looking at today. Let me just save this image to my desktop so you can see the image better. Okay. So let's open that with. Okay. So here's our diagram. Okay, and hopefully everybody can see that clearly now. So this is the diagram that we're going to be using for today's lesson. This is showing us the stages in the water cycle, okay? So for task one, it's 150 words minimum, and you have about 15 to 20 minutes to write a response for your IELTS Task 1. So anybody tell me what the first step is when you get to your Task 1? So you're in your exam, you get to the writing section, you're doing Task 1 first. What is the first step? What should you do as step number 1 for writing Task 1? Even before you begin to write. So what should you do before you begin to write? Okay, the first step before you begin to write for task one is look at the graph, the pie chart, the bar chart, the diagram, and label your steps, okay? Figure out what are the main pieces of information, comparisons, contrasts, and label those steps, okay? The most important here is to label the steps first so you can write clearly and quickly and with good structure. That's how you get a high score on your IELTS, okay? So again, this question is coming from our website at aehelp.com, and you can find lots of examples there. So here we should label the steps that we will talk about or write about in our task one response. So what is the best first step? So what is my best first step in this water cycle? What's the first best step in this water cycle? Where should I begin? What's my most logical step? Okay, Lone says start with the groundwater. Anyana says start with the evaporation. And Nasir says start with the surface water. Amit says start with the evaporation. Rinji says start with the evaporation. Okay, there is no perfect answer. It's up to you and how you write. But I think one of the easiest places to start with is definitely evaporation. Okay, either evaporation is a good starting point, or starting with precipitation, actual rainfall. Okay, so but some of you said let's start with evaporation, so let's start with number one, evaporation, and then we will go to the clouds, then we'll go to condensation here, then we'll go to precipitation here, and then we will go back to the groundwater here for number 5, and 6 will be surface water. Okay, so we'll go in this order for our analysis. So this will be the body paragraph. Okay, now remember that the task 1 of IELTS has 3 paragraphs. Does anybody know what the 3 paragraphs are for task 1? So what are the 3 paragraphs for task 1? What should you write first? Okay, the first one is the introduction. Yep. And a lot of teachers also call the introduction for task 1 the overview. That's right, Monica. So the introduction or the overview is the same idea, okay? That's your first paragraph. And then your second paragraph is your body, which a lot of teachers also call your analyses. Okay, and then what is the last paragraph? What should be the final paragraph of your task 1? Uh, Conclusion, yes, kind of. Conclusion is better for task 2 because in a conclusion you also include some take-home messages. So that's more for task 2. For task 1, it's called a summary. Okay, you summarize the information. In task 1, remember also that task 1 is what's called an expository essay. And an expository essay is an essay that seeks to explain an idea, okay, or information. And this task 1 is an expository essay, and it's using the third person voice. So third person objective voice. Okay, so what that means is do not write or do not use I, me, you. Okay, so don't use these words. It has to be objective. You're simply just explaining and analyzing what you see, okay? Task 2 essay is a first person. You write I, me, my. Task 1 essay for academic IELTS is an expository essay, and it's using third person voice, so you do not use I or me or my, okay? All right, so let's then start writing about the overview for our example. Can anybody give me a good overview for this diagram? So what is a good overview for this diagram? Can anybody tell me what is a good overview for this diagram? And your overview should only be 1 or 2 sentences, so it should be quite simple. So somebody write an example, and then of course I will give you my version as soon as I see some of you try to write an example here. Okay, so Fatime says, according to the given data, this process consists of 6 stages. That's some great information, Fatime. Safa says, this diagram shows the life cycle, not circle, that's kind of strange, of water on Earth. That's good. Okay, the given process displays some information about, yeah, that's a good way to start, Rana. Again, just be specific and make sure it's clear what you're writing. Nasir says the diagram shows 6 stages of how surface water develops. Yes, but it's not just surface water, but it's the movement of water. Rajib says this diagram illustrates 6 stages of water conversion. Yeah, that's an okay beginning as well for the overview. So some good ideas there, guys and girls. Just make sure that it's specific and you're focusing on the global overview, not one specific stage. So here we go. Overview. This diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. Okay, So this diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. Hydrolytic cycle is the very technical way to say water cycle. If you don't know that word, that's okay. Then just say water cycle, okay? So the diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. Can we add anything else to this? So is there another piece of information? Yeah, Dr. Khalid, this diagram shows the water cycle depicting 6 different stages. That's a great way to do it as well. Remember, guys, that you need to write the words for numbers 0 to 6. Okay? Now, is there anything else we can add to that? So this diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. Anything else we can add to that? Is there any other clear information when we look at this diagram? And hint, there is something. So we can see something else here, definitely. What else can we see in this diagram? So we see the movement of water. What else do we see? Yep, we can see that it's a continuous cycle. We might want to save that for the summary. But what else can we see in the picture? Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate. Sometimes simple is beautiful. And on the IELTS, being able to keep your thoughts simple is an important skill. Okay, so you see the sun, right? What else do you see? You see the sun, you see greenery, right? You see mountains, you see clouds, and so forth, right? So let's just mention one sentence about that. So the picture includes several geographic features such as mountains, lake, clouds, and underground, and rock. Let's keep it simple. Okay. So the diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. The picture includes several geographic features such as mountains, lake, clouds, and rock. Okay, so that's a nice overview, and that's plenty. Just so you're clear, this overview is 28 words. Okay, and that's about right. So it's about 28 to 30 words. I didn't mention the surface water. The surface water here is the lake FOD. But again, I don't need to mention everything. It's just an overview. Don't forget, I'm going into the analysis right now. So that's the next step. Okay, and looking at the diagram, so let's follow the steps that we identified here. And we said that the best place to start is with evaporation, or it's one of the best places to start is with evaporation. So can somebody give me a sentence that begins the analysis with evaporation? So somebody give me a nice clear sentence that explains the stage of evaporation. And remember, in a process, there are some key words that we can use to start the writing, like firstly, or at the beginning, or to start with. So somebody write an example sentence here. And don't be shy, guys. So Rana, that's a good start. To begin with, the diagram's first stage is evaporation. So finish that sentence, okay? Just write the full sentences, guys. It's not a rush. Take your time. When you're studying for IELTS, you need to be patient. You need to focus. Write full sentences. So due to the heat of the sun in the summer, water gets converted into steam. Okay, let's use the word evaporate, but Kuldeep, that's a great way to start. Firstly, surface water is evaporated with the heat of the sun. Yeah, Mehmet, that's a great way to start. So, firstly, surface water is evaporated by the heat of the sun. In fact, guys, if you want to be very technical, it's not just the heat of the sun that evaporates water, but it's actually the photons bouncing against the water, which can create evaporation also. All right. Yeah, we can say that it creates steam, or vapor is actually a more accurate way to say it. Okay, what happens after that? So firstly, surface water is evaporated by the heat of the sun. So what happens here when this evaporation happens? So the surface water is evaporated by the sun. The water is then converted into vapor. Which moves high in the atmosphere. And what? Can somebody finish my sentence? Yeah, it turns into gas. So Lytton says when surface water is heated by the sun, this water turns into gas and moves up into the atmosphere. Absolutely, that's a nice way to say it, Lytton. It's gas, yes. Can somebody finish my sentence? So, firstly, surface water is evaporated by the heat of the sun. The water is then converted into vapor, which moves high in the atmosphere and takes the form of clouds. Dr. Khalid, very nice. And takes, oh, where am I here? Let's go. And takes the form of clouds. Okay, good. So, moving along nicely. So here now we have the clouds. So we're on to this part of the process, which is condensation. Can somebody give me a sentence with condensation? So once we have these clouds, what happens? What happens in the clouds? What is the definition of condensation? Anybody know what it means, condensation? Think of the word condense, okay? When you're trying to figure out difficult vocabulary, try to think of similar words that you might know, such as condense. Or if you know the prefix co, anybody know what co means? Whenever you see co, like communication, cooperation. What does it mean to condense? So, yep, so the vapor condenses to form clouds. Yes, it means together. That's right, Emaine. So co means together, okay? Community, communication, cooperation. These are all words that include the meaning of together. So condensation also means to move together, closer, to join together. Absolutely. So condensation is the conversion of vapor into liquid droplets. So during condensation, the vapor is formed into water droplets that make up the rain clouds. Okay. So what can we write next? So we have our rain clouds here. Okay, we have our condensation, we have our rain clouds, and where are the rain clouds here? So where are the rain clouds? Let's see what you write as the next part. So where are these rain clouds? Really go step by step and really take your time to be precise with each of these stages, okay? Remember that task 1 and task 2 in IELTS, the questions are such that you could easily write 2, 3, 4, 500 words if you're really paying attention. So you should be able to write the minimum number of words easily. So you have clouds over water. The clouds become heavy with condensation. And the condensation, when the wind blows these clouds, where do these clouds usually end up? So where are these clouds? Where do you see these clouds? Look at this here. Where do you see the cloud? They're up in the sky, but where are they up in the sky? Are the clouds over... Yes, that's right, Manushi. They're over the mountains, right? Oftentimes, clouds get stuck in mountains. That's why mountains are so green in most areas around the world, because that's where a lot of the rain clouds get stuck. They're heavy. They get stuck in the mountains where they rain. So we can write a little bit about that. So in this third stage, the clouds move over mountains where the water falls in the form of rain. Okay, so in this third stage, the clouds move over mountains where the water falls in the form of rain. Excellent. All right, so we're moving along nicely, and definitely you're writing a band 9 so far. Vishal, you're saying, can we not say forest? You can say forest. You're not going to lose marks for saying forest, but I think mountains here is a lot more clear. I mean, you don't really see trees drawn here, so it could just be grass. It could be a grassy mountain. So be careful not to invent your own information or to write about information that you can't really see, that's not clearly in the picture. All right. Shilpa, you can say that the wind moves the clouds. I don't think the diagram really shows wind. We could assume that the arrows here might represent wind, but there isn't a very clear image of a wind. So again, I don't want to write about information that's not clearly in the diagram, okay? Reality is that yes, clouds are moved by the wind. So if you include that, it's okay. All right. Yeah, Ron, I agree. It's probably better to avoid forest because we just don't see a forest. So it would be confusing to somebody or arguable for somebody looking at this graph. All right, but we definitely see the rain and the rainfall here. So now we're going into the next stage, which is here, and I'm going to move my body a little bit. Again, for those of you who weren't here yesterday and before, I have a broken leg, so that's why I'm not moving in front of the board for these classes. I'm just sitting for most of it. All right, so we want to talk about this stage here, about the rainwater being collected, and I don't think you can see it too clearly, but it says deep percolation, so rock and deep percolation. That's the step here. And then it's groundwater. So it's showing groundwater. Can somebody give me a sentence about this stage? So the fourth or fifth stage here. So what happens in this stage? Okay, yeah, we've already said that the in the third stage the clouds move over the mountains and the water falls in the form of rain. So we've already mentioned that. So now we need to talk about what happens to the rain. Okay, what happens to the rain? So in the next stage, it's a good idea to know many synonyms for the word stage. Okay, some other ones that you can use are step, What's another word for stage, by the way? So you can say stage or you can say step. What else can you say? At the next level, yeah, level is okay. Careful with the context part. There's another really nice vocabulary. Again, term, you have to be careful with it. There's another really nice vocabulary. It starts with a P. Does anybody know the word I'm looking for? PH. Hello, Ali from Uzbekistan. That's right, it's phase. Yeah, so phase is another nice high-level academic vocabulary that you can use instead of the word stage. Okay, so in the next stage or step, level, part, phase, what happens? What happens to the rain? What happens to rain, guys, in the next stage? Rain falls on the, it's not a final yet, Dr. Khalid, careful. We still have another process here, a step in the process. So what happens? What happens? Again, everyone, we're looking at this diagram here, and we're looking at this step here where rainwater does what? What does rainwater do? Okay, so Noor Khalaf says the falling rain will be absorbed by the soil to be stored deep in the ground. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Anybody know what groundwater is called when water collects deep in the ground? There's a special word for that in English, probably in other languages also. So in the next stage, rainwater is absorbed by the soil and collects in the ground through the process of deep rock percolation. Anybody know what deep underground lakes are called? So what is an underground lake? This is just some interesting vocabulary for you. They're called aquifers. Aquifer. An aquifer is a deep underground lake. Okay, aquifer. So rainwater is absorbed by the soil and collects in the form of groundwater through a process called deep rock percolation. Now, groundwater goes where? Where does groundwater go? Yeah, it's an aquifer. That's right. Yeah, so groundwater eventually forms into lakes and eventually it seeps back into rivers and surface water. So water, because it's lighter than rock, eventually does come back into surface water. Sometimes it takes millions and millions of years, but eventually it does get there. So finally, groundwater moves back to the surface and the process of evaporation can begin again. Okay, so this is where we wanted to say finally. So finally, groundwater moves back to the surface and the process of evaporation can begin again. So in this case, our body paragraph for our analysis is 106 words. Okay, so we have 106 words for our analysis. For our overview, we have 28, so we have 130 words so far. So guess what happens next? We write the summary. And the summary should be roughly about 1 or 2 sentences, which will be the next 20 words that will make up the 150 words. Awesome. You guys are doing a great job. Some very good suggestions so far. And you're using some good critical thinking. That's great to see. Again, guys, if you're enjoying these live lessons, make sure to use Super Chat. It's the little $ beside the emoji in your chat. You can donate a few dollars to help these classes progress. Continue. Also, make sure to visit us at aehelp.com, which is our website. This is where this diagram is coming from. You can practice your writing there. You can submit essays there for marking. All right, so let's do the summary. All right, summary should be something very simple that's very easily observed in the diagram. Can anybody write a simple summary for this? So someone mentioned a good hint for the overview, but I ignored it for the overview because I said it's maybe better for the summary. So can somebody tell me what is a good summary for this diagram? Now remember, don't add your own ideas. You have to just use the information that you see. Okay, so Emaine says, in summary, so we can start with in summary, right? In summary, this natural process has several distinguishable stages. And what? So give me some more information here, guys. So in summary, this natural process has several distinguishable stages. Careful saying it's very important, Rana, because that's more of an opinion, right? It's important for humans. What is interesting and what is easy to see about these 6 stages? The overall process depicts the water cycling of how groundwater turns into rain, and the process is continuous and goes on and on and on and on. Right, Shilpa? It's a good idea that you have. Your sentence has a couple of grammatical mistakes, so you need to organize your words a little bit better, but your idea is correct, all right? So that's what you want to state. So in summary, this natural process has several distinguishable stages, and it can be seen that this is a continuous cycle with no end. Okay, so in summary, this natural process has several distinguishable stages, and it can be seen that this is a continuous hydrolytic cycle with no end. If we want to be really clever and add a little bit more in there, we can say also the cycle depends on the sun's energy. Okay, so we can add that in to make it really a nice summary. And now if we check, we will see that this is 32 words. Yay! So our total word count is about 155, 160 words. Sasa, just to recap, we are writing an example task 1 for this diagram, which is showing the water cycle. Okay, so this is a process essay. Maps are another type of diagram. Maps are not a process essay, they're a comparison essay. I will show you an example of a map in a few days. Okay, we have some examples for that as well. But right now this diagram is focusing on the process essay. So just to recap, the full essay is: this diagram shows the 6 stages of the movement of water in the hydrolytic cycle. The picture includes several geographic features such as mountains, lake, clouds, and rock. Firstly, surface water is evaporated by the heat of the sun. The water is then converted into vapor, which moves high in the atmosphere and takes the form of clouds. During condensation, the vapor is formed into water droplets that make up the rain clouds. In this 3rd stage, the clouds move over mountains where the water falls in the form of rain. In the next phase, rainwater is absorbed by the soil and collects in the ground through the process of deep rock percolation. Finally, groundwater moves back to the surface and the process of evaporation can begin again. In summary, this natural process has several distinguishable stages, and it can be seen that this is a continuous hydrolytic cycle with no end. Also, the cycle depends on the sun's energy. All right, so if you can write that, you now have a score of 9 for your task 1. It is 1/3 of your mark with explanation, with questions and talking to you and feedback, review, reading it again, jumping back and forth between the diagram and typing. This took 35 minutes. The first 5 minutes of today's class was about just the introduction. So if I can do this in 35 minutes with all of this extra information and instruction, I'm sure you can do the same in 15 to 20 minutes at home after you practice, okay? It's very important that you practice. Again, guys, don't forget that you can join us at www.aehelp.com. That is our website for academic IELTS help. There's 6 practice exams, a full interactive course that teaches you all the strategies, vocabulary, grammar, and there are 40 lesson videos with, of course, lessons for task 1, task 2, reading, listening, and all of the other parts of IELTS. All right, so this is task 1. This is what you need to do for the diagram. Any questions about this right now? I'm going to continue today's lesson. I'm going to include a task 2 example today also. If you have questions about task 1, ask me now, and then after we will go into a task 2. Okay? Olubusola Adaduntan. Very interesting name you have. It will be available after. So this video is available on our channel. You can subscribe to our channel. We have over 180 videos on our channel. So you can definitely subscribe and watch this again in about a couple hours. Maria says, what if I spell words wrong? Is it a mistake? Yes. Spelling does count, Maria, on the IELTS. If you make a lot of spelling mistakes, your score will go down. If you make a couple, it's okay, right? If you make 2, 3 spelling mistakes, it's not a big problem. But if you make 10, 15 spelling mistakes, that's a big problem. Khalid says, can we give the overview after the introduction? Yeah, absolutely you can. So you can give the overview, Khalid, after you give some introduction. Usually whatever you're writing in the introduction is the overview. Arturo, you're asking me if I have book suggestions for writing? Yeah, absolutely. Go to our website, aehelp.com, look at our course, look at our book there, and you have great information there for writing. If you're not using our website, you want to use something else, that's okay. There's other good materials out there. My suggestion is focus especially on Cambridge materials. So use the Cambridge books because Cambridge is the one who makes the IELTS. Our company is very careful to make materials that are the same as the Cambridge books, okay? So, all right. I will be here again tomorrow, guys, at 10 o'clock my time, which is West Coast time, so it'll be the same time. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am in beautiful British Columbia. Okay, Rajib says, can we write 2 body paragraphs for 2 maps or double bar charts, or only we need to write 1 single paragraph? That's a great question, Rajib. You can write 2 body paragraphs or 1 body paragraph. It depends how you write. Usually there is a connection between the maps or the tables and graphs. So what's really important when you have multiple graphs or multiple tables is that you find the connection and you make sure that you can link that connection, okay? Ding Dong says in October I'm going to Germany for study. Must I take IELTS? You might. You might have to take IELTS. A lot of countries around the world, not just English-speaking countries, require IELTS these days because English is the global language. So countries need to see that you can communicate with people when you arrive. So the best thing, Ding Dong, is to check. Just ask where you're going. Ask immigration or ask the school or the workplace if you need IELTS, okay? IELTS is definitely a good piece of paper to have. It's very strong for your resume. Ahmed says, how much is the exam? The exam is roughly the same price around the world. It's about 250 US dollars, roughly, okay? Anwar, you're asking me if it's possible to start streaming earlier. I would love to, but because I have a broken leg, it's very sore in the morning. So it's very difficult for me to stream early in the morning because I have a lot of pain in the morning. So I have to take some painkillers and wait for those to take effect. So that's why I'm doing streaming a little bit later these days. But in March, I will be in Europe. So I will be doing streaming a lot earlier and more hours during the day. So it will be better for Central Asian and Eastern Asian countries. Okay. All right, guys. So, well, it's my leg's broken, Aya, but it's healing. I broke it about 2.5 weeks ago, so it's still kind of fresh. I haven't decided what tomorrow's lesson will be. I might do a reading, or I might do a listening. I did reading 2 days ago, and then I did a task 2 yesterday. So yeah, we'll definitely probably do something like listening or a speaking tomorrow. Okay, guys, let's do a quick task 2. And here I'm not going to go into too deep of an explanation. All right. I'm just going to go through task 2 as if I'm kind of sitting in the exam. And then, of course, I'll give you some chances to ask me questions and make sure that you're following clearly. Okay, so give me a moment to just save this for future work. So task 1, example lesson. All right. So let's start task 2. And for task 2, you can see the question in the stream description. Yes, Wasim, there are books and CDs for our classes. So if you join at aehelp.com, you will find that, okay? So let me just quickly grab this question. I sent it to myself, so I will have it here for you in a moment. Just a quick refresher for task 2. What kind of essay is task 2? So as I'm loading up the question here, can anybody tell me what kind of essay is task 2? And also if you can tell me what voice it takes. So what type of essay is task 2 and what is the voice of task 2? Okay, Shilpa says it's a persuasive first-person essay. That's right, it is. It's a persuasive first-person essay. Very, very good. Yeah, it's an argumentative essay. You're asked for your opinion, and it's your opinion. So you have to write I, me, my, and so on. All right. So here we go. This is today's question. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger font here so everybody can see it clearly. Let's go to size 14. All right. So here is today's IELTS Task 2 question. Remember, it is 250 words and you have 40 minutes to write this. All right. So first step, of course, when you get to the Task 2 question, and again, this is coming from our website at aehelp.com. So for lots of practice with your writing, go to our website at aehelp.com. Join our full course there. By the way, if you're looking for general IELTS, then gieltshelp.com is our general IELTS website. I will do some lessons for general IELTS in the future for the reading and the task 1. Awesome. So this question is, some people believe that the key to a happy life is job satisfaction. What factors do you think are necessary for job satisfaction and why? Do you think these are possible for everyone? Why or why not? Give specific reasons and examples to support your opinion. Now you have 40 minutes for this question, and you need to write at least 250 words. Usually, the questions are a little bit different for task 2. There are basically 2 types of questions that people can ask in life. One type of question is what's called a closed question. Does anybody know what a closed question is? So what does it mean, closed question? What does that mean, closed question? Can anybody tell me the meaning of a closed question? That's right, Rajib. It's yes/no questions. So it's questions that have yes, no, or a few choices. Okay? So yes, no answers, or a limited number of answers. Okay, that's a closed question. What's the opposite of a closed question? Can anybody tell me what the opposite of a closed question is? It's an open question. Okay, and what does that mean? What does open question mean? Anybody? What does it mean to have an open question? Yeah, it's a multiple opinion or choices. So it can be answered in many different ways. Can be answered in many different ways. Okay, IELTS Task 2. Is it usually an open question or is it usually a closed question? Is IELTS Task 2 usually open or closed question? It's actually a closed question, guys. So IELTS is usually a closed question, like, do you prefer a bicycle or car? And this is because closed questions are easier to write for and easier to mark. Okay, so IELTS is usually a closed question. It usually gives you a choice of 2 or 3 different points, and then you have to choose one, and then you have to support that point with your own opinions. So IELTS is usually a closed question, and the reason for this is because it's easier to write when you are forced to make one choice or another, and it's easier to mark. So for the actual IELTS people, it's easier to give the marks for closed questions because the answers are more limited. However, this is not always true. So, and I'd say maybe about 20% of the time, it is an open question. So So it is important that you study at least one open question before you sit your IELTS exam, because if you get an open question for task 2, it can really surprise a lot of students, and students will often get a low mark in the writing when they get an open question, because they get confused and they have difficulty identifying the answer and writing quickly. So going back to our task 2 here, some people believe that the key to a happy life is job satisfaction. What factors do you think are necessary for job satisfaction? Is this task 2 that we're looking at right now, is this an open question or a closed question? So is this task 2 that I'm showing you today, is it an open or is it a closed question? Yeah, it's an open question, and I'm doing that on purpose. You're right, guys. So Sachin, Shilpa, Oksasha, I can't read Cyrillic, the Russian or Ukrainian, so I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name right. But yeah, you guys are right and girls are right. Dr. Khalid, you're right. It's an open question. So this is an open question. I'm giving you this question on purpose. Oksana, thank you, Oksana. Yeah, so you guys are right. This is an open question, and I'm giving you this question on purpose so that you can practice this as well. So when you get an open question, the important point is choose an easy answer. Okay? Think about what most people would say. Okay, so when you get an open question, the trick that you want to practice is don't try to think about your own opinion or don't try to think about the truth, but think about, if I ask 100 people this question, what would they say? So if I ask 100 people, what factors are necessary for job satisfaction, what do you think they would say? So I ask 100 people, what factors do you think are necessary for job satisfaction? What do you think they will say? What will be the most popular answers? Okay, so salary, yeah, money is definitely one. Okay, so making a lot of money, sure. What else? So aside from making money, what else is going to be flexible working hours? Yeah, sure. Okay, flexible schedule. Yep. Good for health. Hatan says good for health. Okay, that's a very good one. Can you be a little bit more general? So instead of good for health, can you actually be a little... Yes, Shilpa, there you go. That's what I was thinking. Safety. Okay, so money, flexible schedule, safety, long vacations, that could also be to do with safety. Good facilities, so that could be one as well. Sure. So these are probably the most popular answers. Now, quick question. Careful with Aydin, very careful with happiness. Happiness is very subjective. So we want to use points here that are very clear and more objective. Okay, don't get too detailed like medical insurance, Wasim. It's too much detail. Stay a bit more general. All right, so we have 4 here. We have money, flexible schedule, safety, and good facilities. Can we write about all 4 of these? So should we write about all 4 of these for this essay? Should I use all 4 for this essay? Raya says no time. Yeah, absolutely. So absolutely, you're correct. do not write about all four. Okay, you do not have enough time and you do not have enough space. To write about all four of these would be a 600-word essay, and you don't have time for a 600-word essay. So only write about 2 or 3, okay? You can easily get a score of 7 or 8 if you write about 2 of these, okay? Which two? Which two do you guys think would be the best choice here to write quickly, clearly, and get a high score? Which two do you think would be the easiest ones to choose? All right, good. So Shilpa says money, safety. Saeed says safety and money. I agree. It's argumentative, and Sachin, yeah, maybe you might choose a flexible schedule. It could also be possible. I personally think that money and safety are the easiest 2 points to write about. And it looks like most people agree that money and safety. So again, think about majority, right? And if you guys are looking at the chat right now, you should realize that most of you are saying money and safety. Good facilities can also be grouped with safety. When you have good facilities, it usually increases safety. So money and safety are definitely good choices here. Okay, so money, safety, great choices. All right, now this is a two-part question, and when you have a two-part question, it's very, very important that you answer both parts. If you do not answer both parts, your band score will go down. The second part of this question is, do you think these are possible for everyone? So do you think that money and safety are possible for all workers? This is the second part of the question. So here our choices are money and safety. So choice, money and safety. And then that's the first part of our answer, right? And then our second part is it possible for everyone? Is it possible for everyone? And be realistic here, guys. These are usually easy questions to answer. Okay, so Quionita and Raya said, Mehmet says, no, not for everyone. And Dr. Khalid says no. Raya says no. Absolutely. Anytime you have a superlative is like everyone or no one, the best or the worst. It's usually not true, okay? Superlatives in real life are rarely true. It's very rarely true that something is the best or the worst. It's very rarely true that everyone or no one has or shares a common point, okay? So it's not true. Keep it simple. This is IELTS. Choose the simple answer. No, this is not possible for everyone, okay? It's not possible for everyone. Why? Okay, so this is our quick brainstorming before we write. You should do all of this in just a couple minutes, 2 minutes, when you're preparing for your task 2. Why is this not possible for everyone? So why is money and safety not possible for everyone? Because it depends on the work, right, Manushka? It depends on the work. Some jobs, like a firefighter or a policeman or a soldier, are dangerous by nature. That's why people are getting paid for those jobs a certain amount, because there is danger pay for those jobs. Okay, good. So now that we understand how this question is and what we need to answer, we can begin the essay with the introduction. The first part of the introduction, so I'm moving a little bit faster here, is the hook. Can somebody give me a hook for this topic and this controlling idea? Okay, and again, your hook should be something very simple. Okay, so in the introduction, let's start with the hook. Make your hook simple. Okay, remember, we're talking about job satisfaction. So give me a hook using job satisfaction. A hook is a global statement, Maria, that catches the reader, prepares the writer, and leads into the essay with some global, general, interesting mention about the topic. And here we're talking about job satisfaction. And we're not talking about just developing countries here, Lytton, so careful not to get lost in off-topic details. We don't need to start with "it is often argued," Amit. We want to keep it something more simple. Don't start with the points yet, Mehmet. Money and safety are important for most people will be the thesis. Okay, keep it simple, guys. So, Saeed, just the first part is okay for a hook. Job satisfaction is vital for most people. Yeah. Okay, so what comes after the hook? So job satisfaction is a vital part of life for most people. Keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it mistake-free. Background comes next. Which is importance and definition, or definitions. So let's talk about the importance. Why is job satisfaction important for most people? Somebody give me a definition or an explanation for this. Why is this important? So why is job satisfaction important for people? Give me a quick, simple explanation for this. And again, a reminder from previous lessons, use quantitative language. Use language that we can measure. Okay, Saeed says, most people spend a great amount of time with their jobs, thus finding a satisfactory job is important. Yeah, let's be quantifiable, Saeed. How much time? How much time does the average person spend in their job? Why should this be a positive experience for people? Okay, ENGEE says 8. 8 what? 10 plus what? Be clear, guys. 8 hours. 8 hours how often? 8 hours daily? How often? How many days? How many days? How many years? So most workers spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for how long? How many years? For 40 years of their life at their job. Thus, it is important that this significant part of life is enjoyed. Absolutely. So there you go. Yeah, you guys are getting the right idea. Oh boy, some of you are thinking 50 years. Yeah, and if you really enjoy your job, sometimes people will spend even more time because they don't want to retire. They love their job. They love what they do. So anything from 30, 40, 50 years, there's no exact time. There's no perfect time. But just say a big number. 30 years, 40 years, it's okay. So most workers spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 40 years of their life at their job. Thus, it is important that this significant part of life is enjoyed. Okay. Good. So now we can give our thesis. Again, remember the thesis is the most important part of your essay. A good thesis means a good essay. You will get a high IELTS band score. A bad thesis means a bad essay. You will get a low IELTS band score. So your thesis has to be good. Make sure to practice writing a good thesis at home. Again, if you don't know how to write a good thesis, join us on our website at aehelp.com. We have lots of help for writing there for you. So do check us out at aehelp.com. Also, if you're liking this class and what you're learning so far, don't be shy. Sponsor us with Super Chat. It's the little money sign beside the emoji. All right, so now comes the thesis. Saeed says money and safety are two factors to job satisfaction. That's great. Just include in my opinion because it's asking for your opinion, Saeed. So in my opinion, money and safety are two, and then I would add another word there. So in my opinion, money and safety, they're both nouns, so it's grammatically parallel, which is great. In my opinion, money and safety are two, what? Can we give another word here? So Saeed just said two factors, but before factors, can we add another word to say that they're important factors? Two, let's say key factors for job satisfaction or work satisfaction, or we can say career satisfaction. If we're paraphrasing, one of you recommended let's paraphrase a bit. Noor says, what about paraphrasing? Yep, absolutely. Paraphrasing is good. So we're doing that now. So in my opinion, Noor, if you're thinking about just paraphrasing the question, that's not enough to get a high band score. So you need to do more in the introduction than just paraphrase the question. Okay, so in my opinion, money and safety are two key factors for career satisfaction. And here we can use some advanced punctuation with a semicolon. However, comma, and how can I finish this sentence? So again, there's two parts to this thesis. So we need to make sure that we include both of these parts. And can someone finish this sentence for me? However, these are it depends on the sort of work. Studies have shown, okay, none of those are grammatically. Some people cannot get these factors. It's okay, Fatime, but it's a little bit awkward English. However, it's not possible for everyone to have these, Dr. Khalid, because it's pro. However, it is not possible for everyone to have these. Okay, good. Sure. All right. Great. So let's go to body paragraph 1. Okay. Body 1. Let's write the topic sentence. So we started with money. And we can begin with that. It is important to have a high salary for people to be happy with their jobs. Okay, so the first sentence for body 1 is the topic sentence. It is important to have a high salary for people to be happy with their jobs. What comes after the topic sentence? Can anybody tell me what comes after the topic sentence? Explanation, exactly. It's the why question, right? So answering the why question. So why? Why is it important for people to have a high salary to be happy with their jobs? Yep, definitely ask yourself why. That's your critical thinking. Okay, what, why, how? Okay, it's important for them to have a high salary in order to support themselves. Yep, absolutely. To live a good life. When I get a lot of money for what I'm doing, what does that also show? So earning a lot of money allows the person to afford luxurious living, and it shows that their effort is... So earning a lot of money allows a person to afford luxurious living, and it shows their effort is appreciated. That's right. And that makes people feel good about themselves. Okay? So their effort is appreciated. I'm missing something from this sentence, some kind of punctuation. What punctuation am I missing from this sentence? So to make this sentence a correct sentence, what is the punctuation that I'm missing? A comma before and. That's right. Why do I need a comma before and here? So why do I need this comma? Because it's a compound sentence. That's right, Abu Derbala. You're correct. It's a compound sentence. I'm joining two sentences together. Okay? It shows that their effort is appreciated, is a full sentence. So it is a compound sentence, and I need the comma. That's right. All right. What should I do here? What is my next step? I've given an example, or sorry, I've given an explanation. What is my next step here? As example. That's right, Raya. Can someone give me an example? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Somebody give me a simple example. ENGEE, doctors, is a very good idea here. Yeah. So can somebody give me an example with doctors? For example, when an employee, be specific, guys. Saeed, be specific. Don't just say employee. Give a specific job. For example, when an employee receives a higher salary, they are more likely to work harder. We're not talking about working hard, Saeed. That's off topic. Even though your sentence is a good sentence, you don't get points. You actually lose points because you're off topic. Okay? Don't talk about Zuckerberg. It's too complex. He's a businessman. Keep it simple, and you can make it up, guys. Make it up. For instance, and of course, it's important to practice this at home so you can do this fast. Waleed says, for example, teachers gain high salaries. Yeah, I mean, you can say that. It's an okay example. You're just making it up. But unfortunately, teachers generally don't make high salaries. Lawyers and doctors are the more clear example here. So Tu'ul says lawyers and doctors are earning high salaries because their jobs are respected, so they have high job satisfaction. Sure. Don't mix two. Just keep it simple. For instance, my brother works as a doctor and makes over $100 an hour. So he feels appreciated or respected, because we use that as well. So he feels respected and can afford to buy nice merchandise. Okay? So keep it simple, keep it specific. All right? For instance, my brother works as a doctor and makes over $100 an hour. So he feels respected and can afford to buy nice merchandise. Again, guys, yes, absolutely. you can say $100, okay? It doesn't have to be true. What's most important is that you're specific. So choose a specific job like doctor, choose a specific number like $100, use quantitative language, okay? Merchandise means products, goods and services, okay? A watch, a pair of shoes, a car, those are all different kinds of merchandise. I am using a coordinating conjunction here. I'm using so. Definitely you need to have compound and complex sentences to get high scores for your IELTS Task 2. Okay, so I've given an example. What should I do now? What should I do now? What is the next point that I should state, or what should I write about next? Remember the original question, guys. I don't write about safety yet. There's a really important point that I have to include in this paragraph so that I can get a high IELTS band score. Remember, this is a two-part question. You must not forget about the second part of the question. So not connector yet. This paragraph is not finished. My leg was quite sore today, Waleed. Thanks for asking. I was in a fair bit of pain this morning, but thanks to medicine, I'm feeling a little bit better now, or less pain now. Remember, guys, the second part of this question is it possible for everyone? You must not forget about that second part of the question, which is it possible for everyone? And it's not possible for everyone, okay? So you need that here. However, not everyone can earn such a high wage. Why? Why can not everyone earn such a high wage? So, however, not everyone can earn such a high wage. Why? And here's where we're creating a complex sentence. Because not all jobs are because of their degrees, because job risks are different. Don't get into developing countries, guys. Don't go off topic with poor countries or rich countries. So just stay on the focus of jobs here. Not all jobs are essential for society. Maybe. Or not all jobs are highly valued, right? And can somebody give an example here to finish this paragraph? So what is an example of a job that's not highly valued? Unfortunately. So I think, all jobs should be highly valued because they all serve a purpose, but that's not the way society works. Can anybody give me a job that's not highly valued? And you can just make it up here. Don't feel insulted. Teacher. Okay, yeah, teachers aren't very highly paid, but they're not, it's not among the worst paid jobs either. So what are some of the lower paid jobs? Janitors are okay. Waitresses are okay. Police officer, chef, firefighters, tailor. Okay, sellers. Think about that one. Think about McDonald's, one of the lower paying jobs, such as a cashier. Okay, so a cashier is something that might not be valued as much. In most countries, cashiers do not get a high pay. They get basically their minimum wage. Taxi drivers, teachers, they don't make a lot of money, but they're not the lowest paying jobs either. All right, connecting or concluding sentence. And here you can just keep it simple. This is one of 2 points for job satisfaction. Okay? And you can just keep it that simple for your connecting sentence with this type of essay. So this is one of 2 points for job satisfaction. All right, so body paragraph 2 is about safety. And I'm going to be moving a little bit more quickly here. Topic sentence. So another important aspect of being happy with one's work is to feel safe. Okay? Another important aspect of being happy with one's work is to feel safe. Okay, next part, of course, is explanation. Can somebody give me an explanation for why safety is important for job satisfaction? And keep it simple. Careful with that sentence, Saeed. Safety is another crucial point to a satisfactory job. Satisfactory job can be misunderstood. Job satisfaction and satisfactory job are not necessarily the same idea. A satisfactory job could be a job that's done well. No, Khalid, don't write about safety with money. This is your second paragraph about what are important or what is important for job satisfaction. So here we're discussing 2 points. Each point is its own paragraph, and in each one we explain that it's not possible in every situation. That's the easiest structure for this. Another structure would be to write about the 2 points in body paragraph 1 and then write about why it's not possible in body paragraph 2. That's a different structure. It's also possible to write that way, but it's a more difficult way to write. This way is the easier way to write it. With point 1, it's not possible for everyone. Point 2, it's not possible for everyone. All right, so because someone can have peace of mind is what Rajib says. So when a person feels safe in their work, they will have peace of mind. Yes, that's a good start. A safe environment creates comfort and reduces stress, right? Think about it. Visualize. See yourself as a policeman. See yourself as a firefighter. If you're in dangerous situations, you're going to be stressed, right? So when we're stressed, our satisfaction levels go down. If we are not stressed as much, then our satisfaction goes up. So the important idea for you to identify here is stress. So when workers feel they are protected in their job, they have lower levels of stress, which leads to more frequent moods, more frequent positive mood. Say that. So when workers feel they are protected in their job, they have lower levels of stress, which leads to more frequent positive mood. Okay, so that one is a good explanation there, and some of you got that. Abu, you're going, Abu Derbala, you're going off topic with safety, promoting creativity and productivity, and that's not necessarily true, so careful with that. Careful with going off topic. We're not talking about productivity, guys. We're just talking about job satisfaction. That's our topic here. All right, so we have our topic sentence, we have our explanation. Now we need an example. Can someone give me an example of work where people feel safe so they feel happy? What is a job where we can feel safe so we feel happy? Can anybody give me an example of a safe work environment where people feel happy? Yeah, teacher is quite a safe job. ER docs feel stressful, so that will come in later in the paragraph, Mehmet. But for now, we need to support this explanation. So always support this explanation. For instance, my sister, Sarah, is a teacher, and she is always positive because her work environment does not have many dangers. Okay? For instance, my sister Sarah is a teacher and she is always positive because her work environment does not have many dangers, so she can enjoy her time with her students, if I want to be very descriptive here. Okay? So, for instance, my sister Sarah is a teacher and she is always positive because her work environment does not have many dangers, so she can enjoy her time with her students. Okay, now we want to finish this paragraph. However, safety is not available in all professions, such as my brother who is a doctor. His job is more stressful because he is always in danger of getting sick. Okay, so if you're writing a really, really good essay here, you can actually connect the examples between your body paragraphs. So remember that in body paragraph 1, I mentioned that my brother is happy in his job because he makes over $100 an hour as a doctor. But here I can mention that he is not as happy as he could be because he doesn't have safety in his job. Because he is a doctor. So I'm making the connection here between the two sentences, okay, or the two paragraphs, sorry. Yeah, Dr. Khalid says he is always at risk of contracting infections. Absolutely. Yeah, so contracting infections is another way to say it. It's the same idea. So connect these ideas. If you can't do it, so if you think of something else like firefighter, as ENGEE said, or Hatan, or soldier, that's okay too. You can still get a nice high score on your IELTS. You can still get a band 7, band 8 if you talk about a soldier or a firefighter or a policeman. But if you can make the connection between your body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, you create more cohesion, more flow in your essay, so it will be a stronger essay with a higher mark. All right. Now the conclusion. So last paragraph, conclusion. And for the conclusion, the first part is restating the main points. So restate key points. Here our key points were that money and safety are important for job satisfaction, so you want to restate that. In conclusion, it is clear that a good salary and job safety are important factors for a person to be content with their work. Okay, I'm giving you some synonyms here for satisfaction, content, or being happy, being content. It means you're satisfied with something. So in conclusion, it is clear that a good salary and job safety are important factors for a person to be content with their work. Unfortunately, so this is my opinion strongly restated. Unfortunately, not all jobs allow for a high pay or worker safety. And then I want to give a take-home message. Okay, it's a very important last part of your conclusion is your take-home message. What is a good take-home message for this essay? What is a good message to give to your reader for this essay? To recapitulate, in my opinion, money and safety at workplace are two main key factors for job satisfaction. But unfortunately, it is not available to everyone because of job differences. It's a very nice sentence, Dr. Khalid. There's a couple of small mistakes in there, but overall, it's a very nice sentence. Careful with long sentences. Okay, sometimes it's better to write two shorter sentences and get a higher mark. All right. What is a good take-home message? Saeed, that's okay. Safety and money are interconnected. Both are required for job satisfaction. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Learning more and more is a bit off topic. How about just giving advice that indeed it is important for individuals to think about these factors or these aspects of their future work when they decide a career path. Okay, so indeed, it is important for individuals to think about these aspects of their future work when they decide a career path. So simply do what you love to do when you do it. Yeah, learn what do what you love to do and you will always be happy. That could be a good take-home message as well. Absolutely, Waleed. Again, remember, you don't have to make it complicated. Just make it simple and effective. Indeed, it is important for individuals to think about these aspects of their future work when they decide their career path. Quick question. Is there any mistakes in my sentence? Are there any mistakes in my last sentence? In my last take-home message sentence, are there any mistakes? Any mistakes in this last sentence? Okay, Saeed says 2 commas. Yeah, you're right. There's something there. Can you be more specific? Saeed says the last comma before when. Yeah, Mehmet says before when the comma. That's right. That's a mistake. Why is that a mistake, guys? Why is this comma a mistake? That comma should not be there. Why not? It's a complex sentence. It's not a compound sentence. It's a complex sentence, but the comma should not be there because this is the dependent clause here. So when the dependent clause is second, then there's no comma before it, okay? So no comma before the dependent clause, only if it's the reverse, okay? So that is the essay. All right, let's just read it from the beginning, make sure it's good, make sure we're satisfied, and we're happy that we're going to get at least a band score 7. All right, introduction. Job satisfaction is a vital part of life for most people. Most workers spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 40 years of their life at their job. Thus, it is important that this significant part of life is enjoyed. In my opinion, money and safety are 2 key factors for career satisfaction. However, it is not possible for everyone to have these. It is important to have a high salary for people to be happy with their jobs. Earning a lot of money allows the person to afford luxurious living, and it shows that their efforts or their effort is appreciated. For instance, my brother works as a doctor and makes over $100 an hour, so he feels respected and can afford to buy nice merchandise. However, Not everyone can earn such a high wage because not all jobs are highly valued, such as a cashier. This is one of 2 points for job satisfaction. Another important aspect of being happy with one's work is to feel safe. When workers feel they are protected in their job, they have lower levels of stress, which leads to more frequent positive mood. For instance, my sister Sarah is a teacher, and she is always positive because her work environment does not have many dangers, so she can enjoy her time with her students. However, safety is not available in all professions, such as my brother who is a doctor. His job is more stressful because he is always in danger of getting sick. In conclusion, it is clear that a good salary and job safety are important factors for a person to be content with their work. Unfortunately, not all jobs allow for a high pay or worker safety. Indeed, it is important for individuals to think about these aspects of their future work when they decide a career path. Okay, so that's the essay. It looks pretty good. It's not perfect. There are actually 1 or 2 mistakes in there, and if some of you decide to review this lesson, you can maybe find those mistakes and tell me what they are. There are a couple of small parallel grammar mistakes. I'll give you a hint there. But again, this essay would still score a 7.58, 8.5 on the IELTS for sure. All right, so that's task 2. Again, that's coming from our website at www.aehelp.com. This is our website here where you have a My Student account. Your student account has a lot of task 2 and task 1 practice questions. The task 2 questions are here. Task 1 questions are here. When you join our full course, you will have access to 6 full practice exams, also the interactive course, lots of lesson videos. So definitely check us out. Again, the website is aehelp.com. So check us out there, join us there. That helps us to keep going, teach you more and more information. Any questions about the lesson today? Some of you are asking me about the word count, so I can show you what the word count is for this. Let's check it out. Okay, now there are a couple of extra words that I included for the instructions, like conclusion and body 1, but this is about 310 words, okay? So this task 2 that we just wrote is roughly 310 words. Remember, the minimum is 250, so you have to write at least 250. Most task 2 essays that get 7 or 8 are closer to 300 words, okay? All right, guys. So again, if you enjoyed this lesson, do make sure to check us out at aehelp.com for IELTS lessons and IELTS help. If you use the coupon code LIVE20, you will get a 20% discount. Okay, so use the code LIVE20 for a 20% discount on our website at www.aehelp.com. It was my pleasure to teach you today. Okay, I'm not going to do task 2 tomorrow. I'll probably do either listening tomorrow from our website, or maybe I'll do a speaking tomorrow, just because we did a couple of task 2s in the last 2 days, and also we've done some reading. So I think for those of you who are watching regularly, you probably appreciate some speaking or some listening. Awesome, guys. Again, don't be shy. Sponsor through Super Chat. I appreciate Super Chat sponsorship through YouTube as well. Also, make sure, again, check out our website, aehelp.com, for academic IELTS. And for general IELTS, the website is gieltshelp.com. So www.gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, okay? And it's www.aehelp.com for academic IELTS. So check us out there. A lot of fun teaching you guys. Always enjoy teaching you, and I really, really hope that all of you get some really nice high IELTS scores. Good luck on your exam for those of you who are writing your exams this week and next week. This video is available on the channel in about 1 or 2 hours, so you can subscribe to our channel, and then you will get notifications for our live streaming. I will be doing live streaming tomorrow, same time. So I will see some of you then. And I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Have an awesome day. Have a great sleep if it's nighttime for you. Bye for now. Much love. Take care and good studies.